Hello and welcome to my channel. I am C.A. Baker, a fantasy and science fiction writer, editor, and professor. Today I want to talk about writing the first draft. And for some, the first draft can come very easily. It can be very quick. For others, it's like trudging through mud. A lot of that can depend on, prep work that we put into it, but sometimes even with prep work, it can seem like pulling teeth. I do, for myself, enjoy the first draft process, although I have a feeling that I enjoy editing a lot more because that's where I get to polish it up. But the first draft is not unenjoyable. I do enjoy it, but it is harder for me than the rest of it. So it is probably the more difficult of the different stages of the novel. With my current novel, I've found that had I done more with the outline rather than giving just a very brief chapter by chapter idea of what I was going to have there, if I had done a little more there, maybe putting scene by scene or maybe putting a couple paragraphs per chapter, I would have been able to write the first draft probably a lot quicker than I did, probably a lot easier. So I will definitely be doing that for future novels. And I have made a video on preparing to write your novel as well, and you can check that out on my channel. I'll link it in the description below. But what I want to talk about now are some strategies that have helped me get through the first draft, regardless of that hiccup with the smaller outline that should have been beefier. But one of them is using Google Docs. And using Google Docs was really helpful for the first draft. I didn't even utilize it to the full extent that it could be utilized, such as like voice to text and everything else that goes along with Google Docs. But being able to log into any computer that I'm sitting at, whether it's mine at my house or mine at work or wherever it happens to be, if it's a friend's or my husband's computer, I was able to log in and write on my document. Being able to access it in the cloud was just priceless. And anything in the cloud could work that way. It's just Google Docs is set up, like a full word processor, so it has more amenities for writers there. I do wish that Scrivener was able to be on the cloud. I think it can for Mac, correct me if I'm wrong, but Scrivener for PC that I have does not do cloud stuff. It doesn't allow me to jump from computer to computer unless that computer also has Scrivener, and then I just saved the file on the cloud, so that's a little bit different. It is software based, so if the computer I'm running on doesn't have Scrivener, I can't access it. Now don't get me wrong, Scrivener is wonderful, and many people do first drafts in Scrivener, but I don't know if I could get used to it. It would depend on if I took my computer with me everywhere, and if I do get to that point, then fine, I may use Scrivener, but having that access in Google Docs was just really helpful for the first draft. It also didn't overload me with a lot of other stuff that's everywhere else, like on the side. Scrivener has tons of stuff you can store in one file, so it can be a little overwhelming, so I think having it simpler for me was good. And Google Docs was just more practical for me, at least for the first draft. I do transfer to edit, but that's another video. So another thing that really helped me get the first draft out was realizing that editing can come later. I'm a natural editor. I nitpick over everything I write, and sitting down and writing something that I know is not perfect, or at least not where it needs to be, was really hard. And I know this is the struggle for a lot of y'all, so the perfectionist thing. And it may not even all the way, be perfectionist. It may just be you want to do well. You want your writing to look good. But the truth is, first drafts often don't look great. And that's okay. Some parts of them might be awesome, but the majority of it is probably going to be something that you rewrite, restructure, edit, and that comes later. So realizing that for me was hard, and once I did realize that though, and kind of drive that into my brain, I was able to really get the first draft out without getting hung up, without giving up, without feeling like the mud that I was wading through already was going to just suck me down. One of the things that I did was, if I knew that I just wrote a scene that something in it was wrong and that instinct to go back and edit that was really bugging me, I would go off and make a note at the beginning of the chapter or wherever the issue happened to be. I'd make a note and put, I'll fix it later, or fix this later, or detail, what to fix later. I'd save that comment and I'd move on. That has helped me so much. The first novel I ever attempted did not end up with a finished first draft. For that very reason, I kept editing and editing, and it just went nowhere. I may revive that story, I may not. I may take pieces of that story and make new ones, but that one has seen its day. The one I'm working on right now was able to be finished. It has a solid story, and I feel like my process has gotten a lot better. Another thing is to make use of community. Writing is a lonely art. A lot of the arts can be. So when there's community and when you can utilize it, it's always good to do so. So things like NaNoWriMo or groups on social media, all of those things can help push our writing forward, help us feel accountable to other people. You don't want to push it to the point where you're pressuring yourself too much, but it is there as a support. And being able to see people's successes, people's setbacks, to realize that you're not the only one going through these things is really helpful. It keeps you from giving up. It keeps you pushing forward to finish that draft. I did get almost the entire first draft done during NaNoWriMo and a little bit of time after that, and then I was able to go back and start doing a rewrite for it, doing some revising, did a post outline and everything like that. But NaNoWriMo really helped push me because it's a sense of community. It's a sense of, I've got this thing I'm going to do, and I've got to log in every day and upload my progress. Holding yourself accountable and uploading your project and uploading your word count or any progress that you have, whether it's you worked on it this day, whether you're counting by days, by hours, by word count, whatever it happens to be. And that was really, really helpful to push me to treat it more like a business, more like my career, which is what I want it to be. Whether or not it becomes my sole career or not, who knows? But being able to fit it into that mindset of, I'm going to take this seriously, really helped me. And it can help a lot of y'all as well. So, get in there, find community, do NaNoWriMo, or just find some kind of challenge, or, writing prompts, or writing sprint sessions that people do sometimes on Instagram or YouTube or anywhere. So find some fellow authors, fellow writers that you connect with, and use that to help push your first draft forward. One way you can get your toe into these communities is to look at the hashtag writing community. So hashtag writing community in Instagram, in Twitter. The Twitter one's really big, so you can find a lot of great people, instantly get followers, introduce yourself, write a post, and use that hashtag and meet new people in that community. So for tips for getting your first draft out, these are what I have. These are what have worked for me. Let me know in the comments what has worked for you. If I haven't mentioned something that is a really good tip that feel free to share it. I'd love to hear it. Use whatever you feel is going to help you push forward on your first draft. And another thing to remember is a crappy first draft can be edited. It can be fixed. It can be polished. It can turn into that jewel of a book that you love so much and want to put out into the world, but you can't fix a blank page. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you liked, and subscribe, ring the bell to be notified for when I post new videos. And happy writing, happy reading, and I'll see you in the next video.